That was Libertas Kulesia of Lithuania.
Those red shorts I didn't think were Lithuanian, though. That's what fooled me. I was looking down to see whether it was a Lithuanian there. Now Newell with the towel around his neck. Clark, like so many of them, sporting baseball caps. Coppola's just eased off the pace at the moment, and he's letting Clark and Newell, well, I'm not sure whether letting is the right word, but the two Irishmen are certainly now driving the train at the front of this group of race walkers.
Yes, with Jasinski and Coppola the only ones able to go to with Newell and Clark. So it is the son of Deirdre Clark, the Atlanta Olympian, leading, the second fastest in Europe this year, behind Coppola. And Newell with the towel, seventh quickest in Europe. Now that second group, it looked like there was going to be a breakaway of about 4, but they have begun to bunch again behind the two Irish teammates. It's been a really good couple of days for the Irish team. First male gold. They had 2 women in the 800-metre final. Cracking performances all round.
Yes, looking as though it's Vidal having a few problems staying with that pack of 10. It's not the Italian, it's actually Soltis, the Greek. But they're coming over in these hot conditions, quite wise to take on hydration. Just throwing water over themselves to keep cool. As I said, this is the longest event on the track here. Running races stop at 3,000 metres. That's Rabo getting a warning. Well, an advisement, I should say, as a yellow paddle, not a proper warning. Well, the race walking judges just checking the technique there. Yes, it is Saltis coming off the back at a distance. The Greek and the Italian vest, the same shade of blue. Sometimes a little bit difficult to spot them, especially if the glare's on your TV monitor or on the walkers as they're out in the sunlight, the strong sunlight. But now Coppola once again getting to the front.
You get the feeling this is a really concerted effort to try and pull away from the two Irishmen. And now the gaps are appearing. Breznicka, PB in qualifying, that was 3:85, so this is quite close to the limit of her best. Oh, brilliant! It wasn't the tidiest clearance, doesn't matter. The 15-year-old from Poland is over 3:80. Excellent work from her as we edge towards the stage of the competition, where it might all start to get a little bit interesting. Pompolidi, by the way, did get over it the second time of asking. There was a moment of concern where she missed her first effort at 3:80, bearing in mind she's the best in the competition with 4:25.
Well, Coppola's injected a bit of pace into this. That last 400 metres, 1:41, after laps of 1:42 and then 1:43. Whenever he gets to the front, he pushes it just that little bit harder. Still Clark looking good. Well, there have been some warnings coming in, including Soltis, Yarin and Randall. That's the way things are looking at the moment, and you can keep track of all the warnings live via the European Athletics website, www.european-athletics.com. However, as I said, it's 3 warnings before they serve a 30-second penalty. As we pass, you can see that little rectangle of cones. That's the sin bin.
Italy from Ireland, from Italy from Spain. Vidal right behind Clark. And funnily enough, this is first, second and third fastest in Europe. Coppola is the quickest. Clark is the second fastest with the cap. And Vidal, just behind him, is the third quickest. Zarate has also run a walked, a 21:24. So the class of this race are beginning to make their impact at the front, and the rest of the field are getting left in their wake.
Yes, this still a superb pace. 12:44.79 through 3,000 metres. We're still on course, more or less, for 21 minutes, and maybe even a fraction under. And that's a mark that only Coppola has ever achieved. So it's looking at the moment, regardless of how the medals are distributed ultimately, there's going to be a plethora of personal bests when the final results come up. But at the moment, it's Alessio Coppola, and Vidal has run a very astute race. I should say walked a very astute race. I do beg your pardon. But Vidal has walked a very astute race to come through the pack and get himself into second at the moment. A couple of metres behind his compatriot. Seamus Clark doing extremely well at the moment, the Irishman.
We've got our first athlete into the penalty box. It was Shupniarski of Ukraine. He wasn't featuring towards the front. Now he's been allowed back out onto the course. Italy 1 and 2, Ireland 3, and all of a sudden Pablo Zarate of Spain has been dropped.
Well, two more 141 laps with Coppola at the front, pushing the pace once again. This is just fractionally outside 21-minute pace at the moment. But Seamus Clark doing a fantastic job of staying with Coppola, and also Vidal, the second Italian. Just remember, we did have an Italian winner of the women's 5,000 race walk. Serena De Fabio taking the honours 2 nights ago on Friday. And it's starting to be daylight now between the leading trio and Zaretti of Spain. Starting to get just slightly detached. And looking at the monitor, there's about 3 seconds gap now between the leading trio and Zaretti, as Coppola now starting to pull away just ever so slightly, with just over 5 minutes of walking still remaining.
Coppola is really punishing Clark and Vidal. They're sweeping past the back markers. These are quality young walkers, and they're being lapped in this 5,000 metres. Coppola. Clark dispatches the shades. Extra weight, doesn't need them. Vidal in third. Italy 1 and 3, but there'll be so much excitement in the Irish race walking community about Seamus Clark's effort here. Brilliant so far.
Well, just a fraction over a kilometre to go now. They're coming around to what would be the 200-metre start on the far side, and that means that there's just 1 kilometre to go. Just over 4 minutes of walking, but it's still Alessio Coppola. Perhaps not dominating the race as he might have expected, because Seamus Clark, the hat's come off, and he's really showing Coppola what he's made of. Vidal as well doing a great job. The Italian in third place at the moment. Coppola's got the advantage, and he is starting to ever so slightly move away from Clark and Vidal, but the distance is still not insurmountable by any stretch of the imagination. Clark slightly swaying from side to side. He's really working so hard. He's grimacing, Clark. Coppola, you have to say, looking so smooth. Hasn't had a single warning at this stage carded. Neither have Clark and Vidal that we've seen. Zaretti's got 1 at the moment, the man in fourth who's starting to drift out of medal contention. The leaders coming up. Coppola's just gone through with 2 laps to go. Just under 800 metres. Italy 1, Ireland 2, Italy 3 at the moment.
This is Coppola's bid to break the spirit of Seamus Clark in second and his teammate Nicolo Vidal in third. But look at this from the Irishman. Clark's closing on Coppola. His eyes are almost closed. He's giving this absolutely everything whilst holding on to the best technique he can. Coppola cannot pull away definitively. This is not a race-winning lead just yet. And now he kicks again with 600 to go.
Coppola just looking so calm and collected, so fluent in his style. Absolute masterclass of age group race walking. Clark behind him looks as though he's going through the 7 agonies of hell, but he's still there and he's still battling. Vidal, I think, is now starting to mentally settle for a bronze medal with 500 metres to go. Coppola now pushing once again. That last lap, one of the fastest of these races, 1:40, 100 seconds. He's going to hear the bell. He's got an advantage of about 15 metres. We've seen this sort of deficit made up in race walking in the past, but Coppola just looks so calm and comfortable. He's got a glance of Rosenbaum at the moment. Well, Rosenbaum still very much battling away for a place in the top 10, the Slovak athlete, but all the attention now. 300 metres to go as Coppola continues to lap athletes. And just remember, many of these are national champions. Clark still not tossing in the towel. All credit to the Irishman. What a fantastic performance from Clark. Hails from County Mayo. Shout out. We've had so many successes over the years with Irish walking. You remember Olympians like Robert Heffernan. Had so many good performances in the women's ranks as well. But it's going to be Coppola coming into the home straight now very soon. Vidal, well, I think he's settled for third place, but it'll be great to see 2 Italians on the podium. Coppola, just under 100 metres to go now. It's going to be difficult for anybody to stop him. It's not going to happen. Clark has walked a magnificent race, but Coppola coming through. He's going to become the very first European under-18 5,000 metre race walk champion. Gold goes to Italy in the absolutely magnificent time of 21:01:45. Just a few seconds behind, a hugely deserved silver medal to Seamus Clark. I think he's got a personal best by quite a few seconds. Rosenbaum coming through very quickly. He's moved up into 4th place. We didn't see Nacho Vidal. He got the bronze. So success for Rosenbaum as well. Confirmation of the time though for Coppola. Now draped with the Italian flag. Seamus Clark walks 5 kilometres faster than he's ever done in his life. Taken about 4 seconds off his personal best. Vidal comes through for bronze, 2:11:87. And Rosenbaum, 15 seconds in arrears of the medals, but a superb performance from the local hope and a big personal best from Rosenbaum. Rabro couldn't quite get into the medals, but nevertheless an excellent performance from the Frenchman as well, who was highly favoured. We're going to see a lot of personal bests as these results come in.
A great walk from Coppola for the title, but he was pushed every step of the way by Seamus Clark, who, by the way, has broken the Irish under-18 record with 21:05. Nicolo Vidal, 21:11 for the bronze. Rosenbaum has walked the race of his life for Slovakia, not too far away from the podium in 4th. And Randall of Norway with a PB, 21:40 in 6th. Great drama. And these are really, really, really tough conditions. It's still so hot and sticky here in the stadium. Well, the Italians thought they had the ultimate night, winning the men's and women's 200 and the men's javelin. They got a gold and a bronze to add to their collection. And a fine 4 days in the Slovakian sunshine continues for the Irish. Their first male champion, and now a male silver medalist to go alongside.
And bronze in the discus as well. They've got the complete set on the men's side. But a 6th gold here in Banska Bystrica for Italy. The Azzurri riding high on top of the medal table. There they are. There's the 2 Italians who make the podium. Niccolò Vidal and Alessio Coppola. Well, the back markers amongst the 23 coming in. Some have race-walked themselves to near exhaustion. But what an experience for everybody from 1st to 23rd. See Matthew Newell in the end finishing 8th. Featured at the front for quite a large part of the first half of the race. Before this man, Alessio Coppola, started to go through the gears. I think this was Margiel. He had 30 seconds in the sin bin earlier in the race. Zarete post-race has had 30 seconds added to his time after the 3rd yellow card came in. So he's dropped down a few places from 5th to 8th.
And that's why he was crying when he crossed the finish line. He was very, very upset. Meanwhile, it's all joy and smiles for Coppola and Vidal, gold and bronze, and for Seamus Clark with that national record and the silver medal. He grabs the Irish flag. The photographer's chasing him. I need a picture. I want you with the 2 Italians. There we go. The 3 medalists being corralled together for a photo. Really good atmosphere tonight. We've got, a couple of hours to go. Men's and women's 4 hurdles, the end of the decathlon, the women's javelin final, couple of medley relays, and the women's pole vault final in the middle of unfolding on a balmy atmospheric night where the Italians, have I guessed correctly, extend their lead in the medal table. They're still top, aren't they?
Yes, it's the 6th gold, and they've got a bronze to boot in this event. Well, Coppola, as I said approximately 25 minutes ago, set out his stall early. And yes, he did let the Irishman Newell and Clark help with the pace in the early stage of the race, but very soon he was away. Here we see pictures of Rosenbaum. Did a fantastic job of raising the spirits of the Slovak home crowd. But there is no stopping Alessio Coppola once he took the lead at around 3,600 metres. And here he is crossing the line. 2nd fastest time of his life, over 12.5 laps of the track.
And look how much it took out of Clark to produce that national record. His legs had turned to jelly.
They hardly put one foot in front of another. But nevertheless, I'm sure his spirits will be raised when he needs to get to the podium and get that silver medal around his neck.
And on a track looked after by Matej Toth, that was a fabulous walk in 4th for the young Slovakian. Matej Toth, world champion in 2015 and the Olympic champion in Rio in 2016. He's been doing some commentary alongside us.
Confirmation of the results. Italy, thanks to Alessio Coppola, take gold. 21 minutes, 1 second and 44 hundredths. Seamus Clark, 21:05.70, an Irish under-18 best, and Niccolò Vidal, personal best of 21:11.87.